Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Depths, and I'm back with another little event video. Now, unfortunately, I was busy for the last few days and getting pretty exhausted from my job, so I'm unfortunately getting this video out while it's already going to be running. That means if you aren't already in a union, you're kind of, you just need to hope that somebody actually recruited you beforehand. Because I think you could still join unions, but in the case of leaving them, you're stuck with whatever. But we're going to have a union raid event. But before I even get into this, there's been a few things I've been looking into, and I'm seeing it off of the JP side. First off, they had a crossover event with, what was it, the Grisaya series. And it's ended already, at least on the JP side. They also have a Haruhi Suzumiya event going on right now as another crossover of all things. So we're going to be getting quite a few crossovers by the looks of it, if we're lucky. Like, Haruhi should be good for this side, I'm pretty sure, but I'm not too sure about the Grisaya one. It completely depends if Nutaku can even get their hands on Grisaya or something like that. But anyways, then there's the fact that, from what I'm seeing on the other side, I've found a couple of videos where, and these are against the Wind one, there's other elements, but there's rank 6 accessory quests now on the JP side, and oh boy, are they insane. I've seen somebody go with an all-fire team against a Wind boss. I've seen somebody use mixed element, as in 3 fire, water, and a darkness. And they literally use the Phantom Lilum along with the Phantom Element Diablos, which is the SSR version. And they still did insane amounts of damage. So, apparently, like, you can actually use them at some point. So, I'm not even going to say that the Phantom Element Lilum sucks anymore. Because if you do it right, apparently you're going to be doing a lot of damage. But anyways, and you still do more if you go single element. I could say that without a doubt, but I think the best way to clear that up is, if you have her and want to use her, go ahead. More power to you. It's not the optimal strategy, but it is one. Because when you're dealing like 150,000 per hit and you're using a Lilum, yeah, that's a lot of damage. If you can win like that, go ahead. But anyways, there's that. There's recently been another awakening for a Kamihime. Not gonna reveal who it is, but it's another one that's getting 4 skills. So some of them, when they awaken, do get 4 skills. So keep an eye out for that. Also, something else that's going to be coming up at some point eventually. They're going to rerun the raid battles, but they're going to play like Advents, I think. I don't know if you have to go collecting items, but you can get SR Kamihime you miss instead of having to go raid gacha for them, and SSR Idoan. So honestly, you may not even have to go out of your way for that. Just wait till it comes out and just go get what you missed. Some of them are still pretty viable even later down the line. Like Tiamat, yeah, definitely. So it is confirmed they're going to get rerun, but you have to solo it, and it's going to be Ragnarok difficulty. So anybody that's playing from this point onward should be ready for it by then, because this is content that's going to happen way later down the line. I think probably over a year later. But anyways, getting on point. This is the event we're going to be running, and it's going to be a union event against a light Lilum and all that. But the thing is, this is where something big happens with one of the raid weapons. Because, as you know, union raid weapons have a tendency to come with pride. Well, this one's getting a secondary effect with a final break, and it's a very good one. I will get to that later. Also, get copies of the Lilum even if you don't want to keep her, because, again, Idoan Orbs is still a thing. It doesn't matter whether you use them or not. get these Adolans, because Adolan orbs are a thing. Until you have all 6 copies of the SSR Dragoons, you do not want to skip these. But anyways, and since this is light too, keep in mind, you can go with a darkness team for the advantage, but you don't have to worry about it either if you don't have one. Just use your best team, period. Honestly, my light team will out-damage my darkness one easy, but I still might do darkness anyways, just to show it off. Because I always get a tendency to solo these at one point, because there's like a period of time I can hop on where there's barely any Union members on. But anyways, same typical thing as before. Honestly, again, don't worry about the about debuff rates against your team and against the enemies. You don't need to worry about those, so don't ever get them. Recovery, well, now with the new Pride weapon, we're going to end up having another thing that conflicts with that, so recovery is still more or less up to you. Max HP, always max out. Max attack power, always max out. Burst is up to you. But honestly, if you got a lot of Union members that run Shingen, you probably don't need it. Or anything with Provisional Force or some little burst damage increase. I know Metatron has it too, where she can stack burst damage increases. Double and triple. Now, again, it's debated on if double lowers your chances at triple, but quite frankly, I would get them both anyways, because that's a 25% chance of double if you max it out. 10% chance of triple if you max it out. So that is roughly a 35% chance of increased hits. That's assuming they're not conflicting. They still haven't verified this stuff, so I don't know. But either way, you still want 1 or 2 of those. But the thing is, it's only 0.1% for the triple. So if you're getting that absolutely maxed out, double you might be able to get by with having half of it. Who knows? But it's all a matter of how many grails you can get and try to rack up 400 at least. Even if it's just for one day where you just want to go and do everything, because there is rankings. So keep that in mind. Now, enemies aren't too bad when it comes to standard and expert Williams, but we still got to fight them in order to get the grails. So here's the thing with this one. She will attack up herself. If somebody can remove buffs, don't even worry about it. If you are worried about this, then keep her out of raging. So that's the main thing about that. But it will hit one person. And normal will hit everybody. So it's more or less a matter of what you can withstand. But if that raging one goes off and you can't remove that attack up, you may or may not have a problem, depending on how strong you are. Now, when it comes to the Pride fights, she's going to increase her combo rate on the expert one, but also increase her defense. And it's definitely going to get in the way. Because the thing that people tend to overlook is the fact that expert starts off pretty easily, but as you kill her more, she gets tougher and tougher. So it will eventually become a hassle. And then when we get into the ultimate fight, it's even worse, because she starts off a little bit stronger depending on how good you are, and then just grows from there. And in this one, you're going to have to deal with, well, it says enemy attack up. I don't know if it buffs you or buffs herself. It's probably going to buff her. But the raging is going to hit people randomly 10 times. That's a dangerous one. Absolutely keep her out of raging. I'm pretty sure about that. But if you're strong enough, it's easy to manipulate the meters anyways. Especially when expert. But honestly, when it comes to getting nuked for damage, if you got a lot of HP, you don't have to worry about it too much. If you have a lot of Union members going in fighting at the same time with you, you still don't have to worry about it too much, especially on burst time. But if you're really worried about it, looking at how things are, it's probably more dangerous for her expert fight if you get hit with the normal one. it's definitely more dangerous for the raging in the ultimate. So that's something to keep in mind. It still depends on how hard she hits a single person in a raging on expert, but again, it's easy to manipulate the meters. But somebody that can remove buffs will definitely be helpful in all these fights. So keep that in mind. Also, if you want to increase your grail rate, only invite union members on the Willem fights. Because it will pretty much solidify that everybody that comes in as part of your union, and you will get more grails that way, because everybody that participates gets grails. So, if you really want a decent strategy, max out the request rate. I think it's like 15 people, and everybody gets an attack off, but not kill the thing. You've got like 60 grails right there, at least. So, well, I wouldn't even say at least, but it's anywhere between 3 or 5. And that's concerning you do the expert one. Again, there's tricks to get a lot of grails and all that. But your targets, if you want to get all the rewards, 3 million for yourself, 60 million for your union, 150 expert kills for the pride. I mean, not pride. What is pride? But the demon battles, and 400 ultimate kills for the demon battles. But the thing is, too, you also have rankings, so just try and get as many as you can. The ranking rewards are very good. But anyways, there should be a second SSR this time around, too, so I will get into that as well. But if you need Holy Soul points, now's your chance to get them. If you want weapon enhancement materials and stuff like that, now's your chance to get them. I've noticed last time that these also give accessory enhancement materials, which are the Phantom Rosaries. Get those, too. Accessories can get pretty expensive. Then on top of that, there's the usual stuff like the Grimoires for, I honestly consider it Final Break for, SR and SSR. Unless you're actually awakening them, then it's a totally different story. Then there's gems, of course, there's magic jewels, all that normal good stuff. Definitely good to try and do as much as you can on these anyways, because there's a lot, and I mean a lot of stuff. And when you get very far down the list, you can start getting Dragonic Eye Shards. Save those up. You'll need them. Now, here's what we're working with. You know the story with the Willems. You have to have 3 different elements on your front line. So, this one's leaning towards light, meaning the optimal way to use it is 3 light characters and then 2 different elements on your front line. That's if you have to use it. There's been a lot of different add-ons that can override this one. Especially if you got Vlad. I can't stress this enough. If you already got Vlad, don't even worry about putting a Willem as your main. But they can work as sub-slots. Their stats aren't too great, because they're like SR level. But they can work as sub-slots, because of the buffs. So keep that in mind. You can still get some mileage out of them if you want to keep them. Excuse me for that. But the thing is, too, they're not really made for main, but it's still helpful if you don't have anything else. That's what I said before I even started this. The Phantom Willem is probably the best of the bunch, because she affects every single element, but you still have priorities and settings to do that. It's the same case with SSR Diablos, when we eventually get her. Which isn't really too far off now that I'm really thinking about it. We might see her in a couple of months at the most. So that's the thing to keep in mind about that. Now, here's where we get some really interesting stuff. That Pride weapon for light can now Final Break. What it does for the Final Break is increase your recovery performance. Light has a lot of healers. This is very powerful. So consider Final Breaking this. And then it says you can Final Break this second weapon, which is an axe. But I'm not fully sure. If you can, that's very good, because you're getting a large assault plus a small burst damage increase. So somehow if you got a light burst team, I know if you got Metatron, you definitely need it. This can help with that as well. Both are very powerful SSR if you really want to be honest. So that said, both are worth getting. Both are worth Final Breaking if you can get that. Because Final Breaks are not easy to get, but if you can, more power to you. And then of course we got the same normal stuff for these SR items. There's an assault and a defender. Don't worry about them too much unless you absolutely need them. But light weapons do tend to have a lot of dual effects too, from what I've noticed. And then on top of that, if you got decent healers and all that, you may not need the defender for light. That's the one exception for that. Especially if you found and broke that Pride weapon, yeah. And then on top of that too is the fact that the SR assault, it's a placeholder in the end. It helps, especially more than the defender, but it's a placeholder. And of course, you get the weapon grails, which happen to boost your rates of getting skill levels. Now, the thing is, we have a nice little handful of Final Break weapons in the game now. These grails greatly help. Collect them. If you don't need them, save them. Because I'm still in the process of getting a Final Break weapon up to skill level 30. I think it's at 26 or 27. Outside of grails, the only way to really cut back on expenses for it is to use SSR weapons. Otherwise, I'm going to be feeding a crap ton of R and SR towards this thing. So, and you can't even feed an unenhanced R at this point. Because from skill level 10 on, skill level 11 onwards for SSR weapons, you need a total of 22 R weapons or more. You can't just feed 20 at it and call it a day. You're not getting a 100% chance. If you want that most optimal chance, you need to start actually putting R weapons into other R weapons. So these grails will definitely help for that. Because just the R grail is worth double the R weapons. And that said, you can't even feed 20 of them at the point where I'm at. Because I think I'm skill level 26. That means I need 52 R weapons worth of materials to get a guaranteed increase to 27. Yeah. And believe me, Final Break weapons are strong. Being able to get to skill level 30 alone is impressive, but their stats also go up a little bit higher, so these grails will really help you out. And of course, like I said, there's rankings. And hey, guess what? You get a lot more grails when you get a lot of expert kills. So, that's one thing. But they also give you magic jewels. Regardless of the ranking, they give you magic jewels. And it's the same stuff as before. If you somehow get rank 1 to 5, as in top 5 on all 3 of these rankings, you will be getting 5 SR grails, 15 R grails, and 5,000 magic jewels. On top of 15 Dragonic Eye Shards. So again, do your best. But that said, that's it for this event video. I'm definitely going to have some gameplay of this because I'm going to probably try it with a light team versus a light enemy, just for the fun of it. But again, grind the crap out of these events. Even if you don't need the weapons, even if you don't need the add-ons, grind the crap out of this because you will get materials and all that will greatly help you. Especially now that pretty much the meta is starting to change. You're starting to want to aim for Final Break weapons now. And it is a little off topic too, but I will post the videos that I've seen in the comments if you want to see what rank 6 accessory looks like. Because remember, we don't even have rank 5. But rank 5 onward guarantees SSR accessory drops, so that's something to look forward to as well. But again, don't take my full word for it for rank 5 accessory, because I don't know when that kicks in. We might be having it with this maintenance, who knows. But eventually we will get rank 5, we're pretty close to it, I'm pretty sure of that. Because guild orders already happened. But anyways, that's all I got for this video, guys. Expect more of this soon. Hopefully, I will have another video up soon, which will be the final part, the Runes Pharmacy. I haven't gotten around to making the video, but I'm off work for a few days, so I got a good chance to. But that's all for now, guys. Take care.